Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution! Brought to you by GhostBed.com.
Yes, we're here.
Yes.
Starting off strong with the day. Bernie Sanders is making a speech. Wonder what he's going to say. Jamie, can you cut to that?
Let's see.
Can you party with it? Can you rock with it? Turn up the volume, Jamie.
Can we hear it?
Got no volume.
And in the heat of Nevada.
There we go.
And in South Carolina. And in states throughout the country. I want to thank the 2 million Americans who have contributed financially to our campaign and showed the world that we can take on a corrupt campaign finance system and run a major presidential campaign without being dependent upon the wealthy and the powerful. Thank you for your 10 million contributions, averaging $18.50
Can you turn
a
him
donation.
up a little bit, Jamie?
I want to thank those who phone banked for our campaign and those of you who sent out millions of texts. And I want to thank the many hundreds of thousands of Americans who attended our rallies, town meetings, and house parties from New York to California. Some of these events had over 25,000 people, some had a few hundred, and some had a dozen, but all were important. And let me thank those who made these many events possible. I also want to thank our surrogates, too many to name. I can't imagine that any candidate has ever been blessed with a stronger and more dedicated group of people.
Get on with it, Bernie.
Our message
Get on with
to
it, brother.
every part of this country. And I want to thank all of those who made the music and the art an integral part
Looks a little
of our
corona-y.
campaign. I want to thank all of you who spoke to your friends and neighbors,
Raspy.
posted on social media, and worked as hard as you could to make this a better country. Together, we have transformed American consciousness as to what kind of nation we can become, and have taken this country a major step forward in the never-ending struggle for economic justice, social justice, racial justice, and environmental
What are we going to do, Bernie?
I also want to thank the many hundreds of people on our campaign staff. You were willing to move from one state to another and do all the work that had to be done. No job was too big or too small for you. You rolled up your sleeves and you did it. You embodied the words that are at the core of our movement, not me, but us. And I thank each and every one of you for what you've done. As many of you will recall, Nelson Mandela, one of the great freedom fighters in modern world history,
man, you're not Nelson
famously
Mandela.
said, and I
That
quote,
is a stretch.
"It always seems impossible until it is done," end quote.
That is a stretch.
And what he meant by that is that the greatest obstacle to real social change has everything to do with the power of the corporate and political establishment to limit our vision as to what is possible and what we are entitled to as human beings. If we don't believe that we are entitled to health care as a human right, we will never achieve universal health care. If we don't believe that we are entitled to decent wages and working conditions, millions of us will continue to live in poverty. If we don't believe that we are entitled to all of the education we require to fulfill our dreams, many of us will leave school saddled with huge debt or never get the education we need. If we don't believe that we are entitled to live in a world that has a clean environment and is not ravaged by climate change, we will continue to see more drought, floods, rising sea levels,
Say it, you motherfucker.
and increasingly uninhabitable planet.
I mean, it's written under his.
If we don't believe that we are entitled to live in a world of justice, democracy, and fairness, without racism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, or religious bigotry, we will continue to have massive income and wealth inequality, prejudice and hatred, mass incarceration, terrified immigrants, and hundreds of thousands of Americans sleeping out on the streets in the richest country on earth. And focusing on that new vision for America is what our campaign has been about and what, in fact, we have accomplished.
But
Few would deny that over the course of the past 5 years, our movement has won the ideological struggle. In so-called red states and blue states and purple states, a majority of the American people now understand that we must raise the minimum wage to at least $15 an hour, that we must guarantee health care as a right to all of our people, that we must transform our energy system away from fossil fuel, and that higher education must be available to all, regardless of income.
I wonder if Bernie's got the
It
Rona.
was not long ago
He
that
may.
people considered these ideas radical and fringe. Today, they are mainstream ideas, and many of them are already being implemented in cities and states across the country. That is what we have accomplished together. In terms of health care, even before
Oh,
this
shut the fuck
horrific
up and get
All right,
on
I
with
mean-
it,
pandemic
Bernie.
we are now
We can pretty much-
experiencing, more
So it
and
says at
more
the bottom.
Americans
Yeah.
understood that
What do
we
you
must
think? I mean, we
move
don't
to a
have to
Medicare
say it,
for all
you know?
single-payer
Right.
program.
It's like
During the
Braveheart.
primary elections, exit
wanna hear
polls
him
show
say it,
in
you
state
know?
after state,
Sure.
a strong majority of Democratic primary voters supported a single government health insurance program to replace private
Yeah.
insurance. That was true even in states where our campaign did
I
not
don't know how
prevail.
distracting it will be.
And let me
but-
just say this. In terms of healthcare, this current horrific crisis that we are now in has exposed for all
There
to
it
see
is.
how
There it
absurd
is.
our current employer
You can take him off. You can take off Burn Dog, you know? That was breaking news, kids. Bernie is out of the election, and gonna be real. It sounded like he had a little case of the Rona.
He is very Rona now.
The Rona got him, and it might be one of those things where he's got to go into quarantine and was just like, shit, I got to get ahead of this before it's leaked to the press, and then he doesn't want to drop out because of the Rona, you know?
No, I mean,
Complete speculation, by the way.
even though I have a little tinge of like feeling bad for the guy, right?
Well, look, the DNC
Where, like,
fucked him over two
years.
times
And
now.
like, even with Hillary, as much as I hated her, when you lose the last time that you can ever do something, right? Whatever it may be,
Yeah.
whoever you are.
Yes.
There's something so sad about that, especially when you're getting older. So
Yeah.
like Joe Biden's gonna lose, right? And it's sort of like, you know, it's the last time. And you've been working for this your whole life.
Yes.
So in the spirit of just a goodbye, because he is saying goodbye, and I don't see a world where he can run again, no?
Boy, if he did,
I
he
mean,
would be 83
he would be
years old.
83.
It would be 2024.
Here's what I will say, though. I will not put it past that motherfucker. He really did do all the shit. Right?
Look, here's the thing with Burn Dog, right? Anybody running for public office, it is fucking hard. And yes, I will acknowledge that. I genuinely think he got fucked over in 2016. And who knows what would have happened? Because that was a
Yeah.
crazy race. You would have had two people in there who were with completely radical ideas, and
Sure.
and we'll find out what happens, right?
Sure.
He did have a very passionate base, and it was all young voters.
Yeah.
I don't see a world in which all of these young voters go out and vote for Biden, who is falling apart before our very eyes. Did you see the viral clip that the clip that went viral last night of Biden?
No, what was he doing?
In a 30 to 40 second speech, he fucked up maybe 7 times, and it was so
It was
hard.
a speech in front of people?
No, he was on TV. He was doing an interview, and it was so hard to watch that it just kept getting ripped on everybody's Instagram accounts over and over again. I was like, God damn it, man!
I saw an interview he did yesterday. It was
It's hit and miss, and that's the thing is like
totally fine.
that's what's wrong with dementia. It is hit and miss, and you don't know when it's going to happen. And the clip that went viral yesterday was, that's the only thing you can possibly chalk that up to at this point.
Right.
And yeah, man, they're fucked. The Democratic Party is fucked as a whole.
Yeah.
And there is no recovering. I think right now the Democrats wish they could go all in on Cuomo, to be honest with you, but that's not a reality.
for president?
Yes. Behind the scenes, they've been drafting this petition that allegedly 50,000 people have signed. And, you know, in case Joe loses it fully by the convention, they're
just going to pop him in?
Correct.
Guys.
Andrew Cuomo out of New York. And, you know, look, he's been getting almost as much screen time as the president during this pandemic. His brother is one of the lead anchors on CNN, which is an all-left network. So you can certainly get the message out there every single goddamn day if you wanted to.
Right.
I don't know how you trot out Biden every single day like they've trotted out Cuomo, because there is too big of an opportunity to fuck up. There's too big, like the opportunity is too big, where he's going to fuck up. Whatever interview you saw yesterday,
Yeah.
I saw a different one yesterday, but these guys are doing how many interviews a day?
Yeah, I didn't know Biden
30,
was doing
40?
that many, but yeah. I
You
guess
have to.
so.
Now he's doing a podcast?
Yeah. I just saw that. So Biden,
What's the name of the podcast?
it's called Here's the Deal, which
Yeah.
is so great.
Yeah. Here's the deal.
Here's the Deal,
Yeah.
which is his thing. And it's
Yeah.
Joe Biden interviewing different people in office or just any kind of political figure that he wants to.
And Dan Crenshaw has, you know, did this as well, and he did a crossover episode with us for his new podcast on Drinkin Bros, and I think it is a smart idea. However, Joe Biden is 79 years old trying to do a podcast.
Right.
You know, clearly it's for the election. It's only going to go on for the next 6 months. But
it's an interesting thing to
that's
do.
the world
though.
we live in, though.
Right.
You know, and
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal. If you're trying to get your message out to people, is there a better way than podcasts right now? Probably not. Because you could go on a Sirius XM or a Jimmy Fallon or something like that, and it's like, or you could go on Drinkin Bros. We have higher ratings than them.
Right.
We have higher ratings than every single show essentially on basic cable right now on Drinkin Bros.
Oh, yeah.
Ross Patterson Revolution is getting close to that point, and it's like, I think it would serve you better to go on podcast than it would to go on Stephen Colbert. What is that going to do for you anymore?
Right.
What is Stephen Colbert going to do? Because you can't get to as many eyeballs, and if you didn't tape it, once it airs, that's it, and you can't go back. So it's not sitting there in a queue like a podcast is, where you can just scroll through iTunes, you know, write in Joe Biden and look for all of his interviews. You can't do that with the Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel. You can with podcasts. And it gives you more of an opportunity to go back in somebody's catalog and find these interviews and learn more about the candidates. But Burn Dog.
Burn Dog, dude. Well,
His supporters are gangster too. Watch for this.
I'd be a little wary these days.
Watch for the next wave of hatred towards Biden on Twitter just from Bernie Bros. I don't think it's going to be from Trump people, to be honest. Look.
No, I mean, look, they if you were a Trump supporter, you never really saw Bernie as a huge real threat anyways.
You wanted him to win.
Right. But
You wanted-
so that he wouldn't win, right?
Yes.
So it's like I don't think anyone's on that side is going to kick Bernie at this point, because they're like, well, yeah, it was going to be now or it was going to be in a debate, whatever. You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I just think with Bernie, it eliminates the young voters who are passionate to go out and vote for Biden. That's not going to happen now.
Right.
I can promise you that it's not going to happen because of this pandemic. There isn't a way to go out to rallies, meet and greets, all that other stuff.
Right.
That is another hindrance for Biden. There is no way he can win this election besides a Hail Mary with maybe Michelle Obama as VP. That's it. That is the only person I can see that would move the needle enough to win. And
is Obama going to endorse?
What's that?
Is Obama going to endorse?
Doesn't have a choice now. Bernie's out. That is your candidate. That is your Democratic candidate. If he doesn't endorse, with Biden being the guy now, then what does that say about Biden? And I think Obama knows it would fuck over the Democratic Party if the most beloved Democratic president, maybe of all time, besides FDR, I guess, came out and just said, I'm not going to give him my support.
Right. I just don't know why he hasn't yet.
I think he was waiting for this race to shake out. I think there is a couple more surprises. And, I'm not entirely sure his health is going to stand up for all of this. Biden's. I think there is a small possibility that someone else could squeeze in. The other weird thing that I find is Hillary Clinton has been very active on Twitter lately, especially about her disapproval of obviously Trump handling the pandemic and everything else. And a lot of people are commenting, why do you care? You have no skin in the game. You're not running for president. Why the fuck do you care so much? Because you're not in any political office right now. Mm-hmm. Is there a chance she tries? Is there a chance? Excuse me, that she tries to weasel her way in later in this thing? I mean, look, the convention is pushed back now a month, so it's pushed back to August. Okay. There is a long time between it's April 8th now, between now and the Democratic convention. So I think there is a few more surprises out there. But if I'm the DNC, if I'm Tom Perez, and I sit down and huddle up and say, all right, if Biden is our guy, I don't think we have a shot to beat Trump unless we get a strong VP. I think they've got to go to Michelle Obama. And after that, he said he's going to pick a woman. So you're kind of stuck with.
And a woman of color, he said.
Oh, did he? So you're either stuck with Stacey Abrams out of Georgia or Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. Neither one of them have really any political experience. She lost. Stacey Abrams lost. Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris lost. But she is she would make a good attorney general on the Democratic side. So I don't know if you go with her. Mm-hmm. She's too unlikable. Mm-hmm. So I don't know who you go with. Stacey Abrams to me is untested and she's boring. Mm-hmm. And I think if your biggest problem is trying to stir passion out of your base, you'd have to throw a Hail Mary to Michelle Obama.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those things where, again, it's April 8th now. It's over. It's Trump versus Biden. That is it. It gives you almost 7 months to prepare now. Mm-hmm. The election's November 3rd. So it gives you 7 months to prepare now for what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And to run those numbers and see what they're like. Because I can promise you this, the polls are not correct. You know, they had Biden winning. They've still got Biden beating Trump in all of these polls. There's no way in hell that is going to happen unless he gets a strong VP in there. But with Bernie out, RIP, buddy.
Yeah.
RIP.
You know, you really went as far as you could go.
Yeah.
He really took it to the limit and fought his crazy ass off.
He did.
And
he
at
still
the
had the
very,
most
very
people.
least, I'll respect that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And he still had the most people at his rallies over Biden.
I know.
All the way to the very end. And
I know. He rivals Trump in that way as far as like how big his
rallies are.
And that's an interesting indicator that, you know.
Yeah.
When people on Bernie's side would say, don't underestimate him, the only thing that would make me even think that is the rallies.
Yeah. So now you're down to this. He can't go out. Biden can't go out and do rallies, meet and greets, anything else. I'm assuming now. Well, not assuming. They're going to now cancel this debate that was supposed to be next week.
Yeah.
So that is over. The primaries are over. You don't have to worry about that anymore. And, you know, you can kind of prep for it. But until this is the lockdowns are lifted, what are you going to do to promote yourself besides a podcast and something else? Like, I don't know what he can
Pretty
possibly
smart.
do.
Yeah.
I don't know what he can possibly do.
Bernie Sanders has had a podcast for a really long time, though.
Has he really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And look, if you're a Bernie supporter, you guys did all you could. 2016, you got fucked over by Hillary. Look, 2020, the DNC themselves literally took you out. After that South Carolina victory, that was the turning point in this race. That South Carolina victory for Biden, that was so huge. And it was, you know, let's face it, it was the black voters there in South Carolina because all the other states were white that were voting primary-wise for that, Iowa, New Hampshire, all this stuff. That took him out. That changed the momentum. That was on a Saturday night. Sunday nights, Mayor Pete dropped out. Klobuchar dropped out. And who was the other? Was the third one? Buttigieg.
He was the first one.
He was Mayor Pete. So it was Mayor Pete's, Klobuchar, and then one more. They nuked out one more person.
Steyer.
Tom Steyer was out of there, yeah. He was gone. I think Bloomberg stayed in it. until after Super Tuesday, and then
That's
he
right.
got out of there through his support towards Biden. And if they didn't collectively get together on that Saturday night, the DNC, and force these other people to drop out, I think this is still going on. And I think this is very close between Bernie and Biden, because Buttigieg and Klobuchar would have eaten up all those other votes. And you still would have had about 4 people left. Oh, Elizabeth Warren is gone as well.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And I think those votes would have eaten up, and it would have taken you all the way down to the deadline. And I don't know if Biden would have had enough votes to push him over the top at that point. I think it still would have been neck and neck with him and Bernie, with all these other people eating up the votes. But by the DNC eliminating all of them, it kind of forced you into, do you want a socialist as our candidate, or do you want Biden? Do you want boring and true, or do you want a socialist? And that got everybody out of there. The hardest thing for me to reconcile with is, for the Democratic Party for the last 3.5 years, is just the bitching of, you know what we don't want in 2020 is another old, white, rich man to represent our party. We're done with that. We're going to put on our pussy hats and run around. We're going to make some noise. We got to get somebody of color in there. We got to get a woman. We got to do X, Y, and Z. You did none of that. You picked the most boring, traditional, older, rich, white candidate that you could possibly come up with.
Yeah.
I don't know how you explain that to the nation and your base of saying, hey, guys, let's pull our dicks together and rally around this guy, because he's the guy that we've railed against for 3.5 years.
Yeah, if you want change.
You didn't get it. You picked another safe, white, old, rich candidate on your side.
Mm-hmm.
So how do
Anyway.
you gain excitement for that? I don't know.
I don't know. But
don't know.
anyway, see you later, Bernie.
Bye, Burns.
It was bound to happen. It was obviously going to happen.
I didn't think it would, to be honest with you. I thought he would have stayed in it until the convention to see if something happened to Biden. Something old manish, you know? But maybe something old manish is happening to him.
Old manish is happening to him.
Corona! He might have that Rona.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Well, you know who doesn't have the Rona?
Who's that?
Kristen Cavallari.
Really?
You know Kristen Cavallari?
Big fan.
You know her husband,
Smoking Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
They're finally home after their three-week quarantine in the Bahamas.
Really?
Oof. And they are getting all the backlash from
Why?
people, because it's a new thing that we're doing. We've turned a corner of being like, now we're quarantine judging.
Okay.
So now it's a thing of like, now we've entered the realm in COVID,
Right.
where we've settled into our roles, whatever they may be, for whatever you're deciding to do for your family. And now we are bored, and we are now judging how other people are social distancing and quarantining.
So
Right?
I think.
And that's in the neighborhood, that's in life, that's with celebrities, you know. So what people are realizing with her Bahama quarantine, we got stuck. We just couldn't get back, you guys. I mean, that's how the chips fell.
Hard knock life.
So when people kind of went back through the timeline of when she actually left for the Bahamas,
Right.
she posted that she was in New York the 12th, I think.
Okay.
Or the 13th, which was the day that New York went into hardcore lockdown.
Right.
She lives in Nashville, so she somehow was in New York for the crazy lockdown,
Probably
and
for her
then
fashion
once she found out everything was going to be quarantined, then flew out to the Bahamas and just basically had the same vacation she was always going to have.
It's great.
And then
Why are we judging that?
because of how she laid it out, and she
Okay.
was posting every day about like, hey, so like we can't get home, whatever, you flew there on your private jet. So this is what everybody's talking about, because we have nothing else to talk about, right? Except for to judge how and get pissed. For me, I just don't know why they couldn't have just done this and not posted about it. Right?
Yeah. So look.
So it's sort of just like, put your fucking phone down. Like, I don't care how you did it. Like, you
No.
got out on the last flight.
Yeah.
You have a private jet, but whatever, it was semantics. You got out on your last flight. By the way, in Bahamas at that time, they were telling everybody, if you're not from here, get the fuck out. And they were like, no, basically.
Yeah.
And now
I wouldn't leave either. The Bahamas is great.
the Bahamas is great.
Why would you leave?
And if you have the money to,
Yeah.
go and quarantine in the Bahamas with your, by the way, hairstylist and trainer,
Yes.
his family,
Yes.
your 3 kids,
You bet.
husband.
Awesome.
So you're like doing workouts every day. You're still able to get your hair done, hair and makeup.
Uh-huh.
Hello.
Man.
I know we're pissed because we all want this, but it doesn't mean that she shouldn't have this, right? So I'm just kind of wondering.
It's how you sell yourself, though.
Yeah.
And you have to establish your brand before that, right?
And I have to give her a little bit of shine for this because she has gotten backlash for all different kinds of things. Like, she posed in front of the 9/11 museum and said something completely tone deaf and ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was like up in arms about it, and she made no statement whatsoever, which I love.
Yeah.
Now for this, we'll see what she does, but my guess is she doesn't say anything, which is to say that she doesn't really care what the fuck you think.
Look, I again, it's establishing who you
Ever.
are and what your brand is beforehand. Like me, I started off with this whole coronavirus thing saying this is fucking bullshit and we should all go back to work. Therefore, I can do whatever I want. So all the posts that I'm making are like, who gives a shit? I was on the beach today. Went to the fucking grocery
Right,
store. I've lived my life.
Sure. So I guess maybe the difference with her is that they're being like, they post every day about how they're social, how they're being safe with their family, social distancing, whatever. Yes. And then now they're back in Nashville. They're going to quarantine for 2 weeks and like really follow all the guidelines.
Yeah.
So
I would have flipped it if I were her and just come out and said, stuck in the Bahamas for 3 weeks on the coronavirus. What am I going to do? And then just take sweet beach shots all goddamn day long. Owned it and said, dude, you know what else is rad? My trainer's here. I've got a professional hairstylist here. I'm going to post all kinds of crazy shit because I can. And I'm in the fucking Bahamas and it's rad.
But she doesn't have to. Like, she can just do that. That's
the other thing.
The
so
other
either
thing is just like,
don't post.
Why don't you just go out there? Like, if we were to ever do that, right? I would not be embarrassed, but I would just be like, this is what I want to do, and nobody else needs to know about it. Right?
Yeah. Look, you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. But I guess, I don't know. This one's like, it's sort of a tough one for me because it's like, if you can do it, do it. Like,
fucking do it.
I was for a moment thinking like, shit, like, is there somewhere that maybe our beach house or something, is there somewhere that we can go, change of scenery? We're all still together. We're not going to leave or anything. Is there something we do? No, because you still have to travel. And then you're being a dick, right? Unless you have a private jet. Then you are social distancing.
Yeah.
And doing the right thing.
Yeah. I look at it like this. If you want to come out and own it. Just say, hey, I'm fucking rich and awesome and shit's rad. Like, then that's fine. Everybody will go along that ride with you. Yeah. It's when you're pretending to be like, oh my God, I really care about the rules and all that other shit.
We really care. Stay safe out there. Yeah, exactly. Like, don't tell me to stay safe, or like, don't tell me that you're thinking about everyone back home and what they're going through. Like, I think that's the thing, right? Of like, don't act like you give a shit.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to.
Yes.
That's sort of where I find myself caught in between, right? Of like, we're not politicians, we're not doctors, you and I.
Yeah.
We literally, the only thing that we know how to do is tell you guys how we feel, like how we're feeling right now. So some days it's like, man, Che from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Che, what's his last name?
Guevara. I'm kidding. It's Michael Che.
Michael Che, sorry.
Yeah.
So his grandma died of coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
So like you go back and forth between like, man, I mean, this sucks, to like, man, this sucks.
He left
like, I want it to be fucking over.
He left a really weird Instagram post about it.
I think it was a grief post apparently, but it was like,
who gives a shit? Why post that? Go back and read it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so here's what I don't understand. You take somebody like Michael Che, okay? He's a writer, one of the head writers for fucking SNL. Read this weird post, man. It goes back and forth, and he's answering his own questions and his own thing, and it was like, I can see you fucking editing that on your phone.
Well,
why are you posting any of it?
He's going back and forth between being like, it's like grief posts, like I said. So he's like kind of funny. He's pissed. He's like sad. He doesn't understand. He jokes about it being 5G just because he can't like comprehend that his grandma died from this shit from an N-word eating a bat. Like he goes through all the things
Is
that
there
you
such
would
thing
go.
as a grief post? Is that what they're calling it?
No, I'm just saying like when you're going
It is a thing.
through,
Alex said it is a thing.
Yeah, like when you're going through something, you're gonna go through a bunch of different emotions. Why he posted it, I don't know. That's up to him.
That's what I don't get. Yes, you're going to go through different emotions when your grandmother dies, right?
From coronavirus.
Sure,
like,
but why post about it? Like, go through your emotions, then come back later. No need to do that on the day. The last thing I've thought of when
I don't know if it was on the day.
it appeared to be. Last thing I would think of after a relative dies is like,
is going on. And you know,
hey, I'm going to go on social media and then write a weird fucking thing where I'm angry and I'm pissed and I hate the president and I hate this and the coronavirus and all. Like, why, man? Take a few days off the social media.
Yeah, definitely.
No need to post that.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know why anyone posts anything ever, to be honest with you. But that's just me.
My shit's like mostly comedy, so like I don't really give a fuck. Like, go to @STJames, one of the best Instagrams on the planet. I posted a fucking Mike Pence as a bondage queen like last night.
That was funny.
It's great. It's a great video. Late night.
Getting weird.
Midnight. I was writing. I posted Mike Pence just in full bondage on my Instagram, and it was rad. You know, I posted Yodel Boy.
Oh,
a
yeah.
remix of Yodel Boy with black midgets working out next to a small dog. And then it's a hard cut into just graphic gay sex from Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah. I think if you establish who you are and all that other shit, then you're good to go. Like, the grief post and the other thing, like Kristen Cavallari, the trying to figure out what you're going to post. If you have to try to sit there and fucking think about it all goddamn day,
you know what?
Don't post.
Yeah, no, she didn't. She was just like quarantined, posting pictures of her workouts. We're getting workouts in.
Yeah.
We're staying healthy. We're just updates like that. The real problem with this trip was her trainer hairstylist that she brought that's not used to any negative comments. Where Kristen Cavallari, right? She is used to it. She handles it with a big fuck you, basically. Yeah. She's just like, cool, you guys can think whatever you want. Like, I've heard negative comments about myself since the Hill days, right? She the Hills or the OC, whatever it was.
One of those.
I think it's the Hills.
Same goddamn
Laguna
thing.
Beach, whichever one she was on, right?
There's hills in
so she's
in every
been dealing
neighborhood.
with it. So it's this guy that she was with that she brought along with her and his family that wasn't able to deal with the backlash and kept like tweeting stuff like, hey guys, can't handle all the negativity, like we're doing what we need to do, blah blah blah. So she had a little leak, you know what I mean? She had a leak in her boat. Do you know what I'm saying? Where like if it had just been her family, she would have posted her shit, she would have posted her workouts, she would have posted her hair getting done and been like, hey, fuck you bitches, I have fucking money, I work hard for it and this is what I'm doing with it, right? But the leak in the boat kind of made it so that people turned on her. Because this has been happening for 3 weeks. She's been posting for 3 weeks. Why are we just now, being like, it's on everything, right? Page 6, everything. Like,
yeah.
A, there's not a lot going on.
No.
And then B, the leak in the boat was the problem for her.
It is and it isn't, you know? Come out and make a weird post about that guy. And then I think that would probably solve it. I think people are afraid to do that as well. And I think way too much thought is going into people's social media during this time because there is no entertainment in the outside world. So therefore, everybody is going to socials to find some form of entertainment.
We've all turned into like bored looky-loo grandmas. And that's what's happening like in our neighborhood. That's what's happening in the world. Like we're all just like, oh, what did you see? It's like, get a fucking life. I can't get a life because we're quarantined. So
I will say
you are going to be my life.
There is some pleasant surprises, though. Naomi Watts. I'm not a gigantic Watts fan.
Oh,
Never have been.
you're not in the Watt squad?
No, dude.
I have been for years.
Not in the 21,000 gigawatts fan club, but it should be. Her Instagram has been fucking hilarious, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Her all over
Turned down
appliances.
for Watts?
Yeah, turned down for Watts, dude. The Watts riots, if you will. Yeah. I can go on for days on this
That
one.
was too on the nose, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
All of her appliances broke yesterday in her kitchen, like 3 appliances. She scored herself screaming to Godzilla. She put the actual Godzilla scream of when he's smashing through the village.
Okay.
She's wearing no makeup, and it's really fucking funny, and you're like, holy shit. Scroll back to, she's 51 now, which I haven't seen her in a few years. Your theory about old white women is...
not a theory, just facts.
It is facts.
Just facts, not a theory.
It's coming true. She gives 0 fucks, not wearing makeup in any of these. The next post is her digging a huge handful of red velvet cake and smashing it into her mouth. Quarantine times, she said it all counts during that, where you're just like, no fucking Watts is pretty funny. A bird shit on her leg. She took a picture of that and she was like, what do you think? Is there any meaning to this? You know, should I do something or not? Where you're just like, it's just bird shit right on your leg. You just took a pic of that and posted it.
Yeah.
Fucking A, Watts. Way to go.
Is it funny or is it funny because it's Watts and you don't expect it from her?
That's what it is.
Yeah, because when you're saying it to me, just face value,
you gotta,
not funny.
You, gotta take
know what I mean?
You got to take a
not
peek-sees
funny.
at it.
Yeah.
Because you think of Watts traditionally and you're like, oh, aren't you Nicole Kidman's best friend? You've won like an Oscar and all that shit. Like, what do you do in your real life? I know she was married to Ray Donovan for a long time.
Right. Not anymore.
No. Clearly he's on to his second wife, you know?
Is he?
Probably. And I guarantee you she's probably 20 years younger.
Yeah.
That's the guess.
But if it's a blonde, you're just starting that. You're just starting that train at the front.
Sort of, but look, if you look at his age, he's probably 50. Let's say that other marriage goes another 20. You know, he's in his 70s at that point. Like,
he's G to G, right?
Yeah.
He's G to G.
G to G. G to G.
Into what?
Of who? Yeah, do you have him? Throw up Watts on the screen.
Throw a Watt.
There we go.
Taiwan Watsonejo.
Tay Watsonejo. Look at her eating that cake, dude. Oh, go back to that cake, Jamie. There it is. Yeah. She's really digging into that fucking thing. No makeup either. Where you're just like, wow, Watts didn't give a fuck. Can you actually play the video?
What is happening?
Look, there's the bird shit on her phone. Yeah, go to the top left one. Can you play the Godzilla one of her screaming? That's it.
Oh, the Godzilla one is on the red velvet? Oh, no, got it.
Play that one more time. Put on your headphones for this one. The noise is so violent and loud. I never would have guessed to have gone Godzilla on this. Play that one more time, Jamie.
All right.
Watts, dude. Who knew?
Okay.
Who knew? Kristen Cavallari, though, look, the shocking thing about her, she's married to Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler has not given a fuck for years either. The two of them, she should have been like, look, we're rich. We're beating the fucking quarantine. We're going to
By the way, that's what
Bahamas.
they're doing. I'm just saying
I
everyone else
understand
has
that.
a problem with it. They're not saying shit.
But they should get the trainer in line and be like, hey, bro, and really make a meal out of it for the whole thing and be like, dude, if you could, wouldn't you? Fuck yeah, you would, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Take pictures of the fish fry of you fucking dropping hundreds on the wait staff, you know? Because you can.
No, they're at like this really nice house. Like they're private.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like they're not at a resort.
Got to go out to eat sometime, though.
No, I think they probably had the private chef situation
Okay.
and they had all the food there already. Like I really think they're doing it right.
That fish fry, though. How do you?
You could have it you could have it in.
Yeah, you could order in.
You know what I mean?
You could order in.
But
Jay
Cavallari,
Cutler,
I like though. I have
like both
to
of
say.
them. I like. Look,
I think they're great for that very reason, like because they don't care.
Jay Cutler was a mediocre quarterback.
Sure.
And he was quarterback for a long time with the Chicago Bears. A lot of people hate him. Bears fans hate him.
Because
couldn't win a title.
Sure.
And just never looked like he gave a shit. But
he doesn't.
That motherfucker,
by the way,
racked up probably 150, 160 million in his career. I mean, he made the most out of his situation and doesn't give a shit. So the two of them together, fucking A.
Yeah.
Fucking A, brother.
Yeah.
Let them live their life. Now the trainer, he's got to get his bitch ass into shape. Get somebody else who doesn't give a shit, who's rich as fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Don't get some little gimp who's not used to this, some little geek off the street. Yeah, because if so, don't have a fucking social media account, brother. You know?
Yeah.
Take your digits off that, put them on a dumbbell
again. Or by the
again.
way, if you were concerned about it, then don't go.
Yeah.
It's not like you fucking paid for it.
Yeah.
Don't go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, don't go. Don't go.
Don't go if you really care about the people on the front lines back here and you really want everyone to stay safe.
Yeah. Speaking of staying safe, Post Malone stayed safe by not having me in that beer pong tournament.
He stayed safe from losing.
He stayed safe from losing.
Oh, sweet.
We have an update.
Post Malone.
We have an update on that as of last night, and I can tell you now on Post Malone. Their camp reached out to us. He wants a rematch at his house. So I will be
after all this nonsense.
After all this nonsense is over.
Cavallarius.
Yeah, He's not throwing a PJ. Although if he would, I would travel. By the way, I'd fly tomorrow if the meeting was important enough.
And you'd probably post the whole time.
Goddamn right I would.
And you'd say things like, "I already had it. I had it." Shaking people's hands.
Yep.
The fucking pilot. I already had it.
Absolutely.
I don't know when. You know, I don't know when I'm not contagious anymore. Already had it. Already had it. Hug. Bring it in.
Yep.
Bring it in.
You know what I would ask for the stew? They love when they call them stew, the stewardesses.
Mm-hmm.
Say, hey, why don't you? I'll take the chicken, but make it raw, make it uncooked. I've already had it. Let's go ahead and throw some salmonella in the old beak and move on with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Weird.
I'm above the law now.
Yeah, really
I think
weird.
You can get salmonella after having it. And I do it. So he said, look, when all this shakes out, we're gonna have a rematch at my house. And we can go for broke. The only thing that concerns me about this, right, is if you are a longtime listener to the show, you know that I won $20,000 off Post Malone in a beer pong tournament. Hard to believe that was less. It was 3.5 weeks ago at this point. The fuck? It seems like it was 10 years ago.
It was right when Cavallari flew out.
Yes, almost on the day, I think.
On the day.
To be honest with you, and I won $20K off of him. He paid immediately, and it was rad. My biggest concern is I saw another video pop up with Tyler Oasia. Yeah, the guy who opened up for him.
Okay.
And he posted a video and said, hey, man, he was doing an interview the other day, and he goes, they were like, how did you guys end the tour? And he goes, well, I lost $50,000 to Post Malone in beer pong. And I was like, shit. And the guy who was interviewing him, it was rap, you know? And he goes, hey, man, can you afford to be dropping $50,000? Because, and he goes, well, we made a bunch of money on tour, and it was great. And he goes, I understand that, but
right,
50K on beer pong.
Okay, so what's your concern? That you're going to lose?
For a lot of money, where it's like, you know, shit. Because now he's going to be even more pissed about the 20 grand is not going to be 20 grand anymore. I'm assuming he's probably going to set that at 50. Knowing my skills at this point, he's probably going to set that at 50, and who knows where that goes towards the end of the night. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'll tell you where it goes. If
Ah.
it doesn't happen.
You don't tell the
what?
man of the house.
Huh?
Might get a little rap on the beak as I'm having my 18th Bud Lights. But yeah, that's the only thing that concerns me, where you're just like, oh shit, because you always in the back of your mind you're like, am I as good as I think I am? You know?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. It's not gonna happen.
Can I continue? What's that? I got the interview pulled up where he talks about losing the 50K. Oh, you got that with yeah. Pull it up with Tyler right now if you got it up. Pull that interview up where he lost the 50K. Shit, it's only about a 45-second clip. Is that what it is? Yeah, throw that in there for the audience. It's my only fear, man.
How did you lose 50K to Post Malone?
I played some beer pong, and it was the end of the tour, and we were like, yo, we just made some money.
This guy's so awesome.
Listen,
the best.
Let me just give you
He's so
just a little
sweet.
word of advice. When it's like, you know what I mean, basketball, you know what I mean,
Beer
maybe.
pong.
Yeah, when it's basketball
Almost
and
won,
things
though.
like that,
Ooh.
that's us.
Yeah.
When it's beer pong,
That's them.
that's dumb. Tyler,
That's me too.
is it?
That's,
Oh, no.
He had to feel
I-
really confident if he
You
put
did.
50K on
You
it.
did. You did.
We play beer pong every
Oh,
single day.
every
Like,
single
it's-
day, yeah.
We have a league going on.
A beer pong league.
Yes.
That's fire.
Yes, we're working.
What is your team? What is your league name?
Yahweh Entertainment?
Yahweh. Tyler Yahweh. So we were with him before the show started. Nicest guy in the world. He wants to come on Drinkin Bros podcast. Right after he got off stage.
He was cool.
Cool as shit. And there's a picture of him on my Instagram. Nicest guy in the world. He was the one who wanted to take the picture. He's like, yo, man, I want to be on Drinkin Bros. I was like, fuck. And he's like, you get a picture? And I was like, yeah, of course, man. But seeing that clip yesterday of him losing 50K, I'm like, oh, shit. If they've been playing all tour, you know?
Yeah.
Am I as good as I think I am, Jabes? That's the question.
I don't know.
You know, I know the answer. And I'll tell the audience because I have no problem saying this. I've ordered my own fucking table. I've ordered my own personalized beer pong table. It will be coming in my house. And if you think for 1 second I'm not going to be training for this, you're out of your dick hole, hombre.
Yeah.
This is going down. So I had our graphics designer. There's a company that makes personalized tables and shit like that. So there is one en route to my house, and I might have to have some of the boys over there and play, you know, so I can get some work in, you know. Problem is, how long is this fucking quarantine bullshit gonna last?
Well, you'll just get better, because you cannot lose that money.
Yeah. And I hear all that.
I don't know if you're hearing it.
It's in one of these and out the other, and
You're kind of acting like your
find
son
out. Find out, but
when I tell him.
nah, I gotta get some people over the house, get some work in of the old man. It's just the two fingers. It's these guys. It's these guys.
Elbow.
Yep.
Elbows
out. Got to get that in. Got to get that work in the backyard. Put my 6-year-old up to the task. You know. See where he's at.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Just pouring some beers out for him, you know. You can never start too young. You can never really
With
start
beer
too young.
pong, can you imagine? He's like a champion.
Everybody else is so scared of the quarantine. It's like, I would have anybody over to play beer pong. That's what I need, man. What I need. Can you imagine me going to Craigslist, putting up ads? Looking for beer pong partner.
On missed connections.
Looking for the ultimate beer pong partner. Promise it's for a good cause. I'm trying to be Post Malone again in beer pong. Don't want to lose my money. Send me some video of your previous work. Send me some highlight reels of your previous work. Or I should just, God damn it, if things were open, I'd just roll down to UNCW and just go old school fraternity style, because that's where I learned all my gifts. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
And just say, look, kids, let's go. I'll donate some money to the house. I just need some to put in some work here. Because that's what the UFC fighters are doing right now.
Yeah.
The article came out, we talked about this yesterday, of Dana White buying his own private island. Apparently that has fallen through because they're having a hard time with customs. So they are doing it at an Indian reservation in California.
Yeah.
So they're going to all the fights in an Indian reservation in California. Khabib, who dropped out, the guy who filled in, said, hey, man, they interviewed him last night, and they were like, are you going to be ready for this? And he's like, actually, the guys that I've been quarantined with just fought in the last UFC. So he goes, luckily, I've been able to train. He's like, I'll probably be at like 95% by the time it gets to fight night, not 100.
Right.
But he goes, I've been quarantined with like 2 guys who fought on the last UFC card. So it's good. And it was like, man, after getting last night's phone call, like, I wish I was quarantined with some beer pong champions, you know?
Right.
How am I going to get my work in, dog? So we'll see. A little nervous, you know? A little nervous. Not nervous, though, about our sponsors, Jabes. Put this whole show on the air, talking about ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. What are the deals on GhostBed, Jabes?
It was 25% off.
Yeah.
But that was only extended 11 hours. So let's see what we got today. Load it, bitch. Load it. Yeah, so 25% off everything in stock expires in 11 hours. I guess they keep extending, y'all.
So 25% of everything? Are you still
Off
getting
of-
2 free pillows with the bed?
No, it's just
Okay.
25% off everything
All right.
in the
Indian
store.
sign
So
of storm.
at checkout, essentially, you're getting 25% off. You can also do your 36-month pay-as-you-go with that so that you're not putting out any huge amount of money right now because that's crazy. And then if you happen to miss this for some reason, they bumped up their military and first responder percentage up to 25.
Okay.
So if you miss this because it's 11 hours, I don't know if they're going to extend it again. We'll have to talk to them.
Sure.
But if you happen to miss it, most of the people on the thread are military or first responder. So
Yeah.
you
Get on
can
it.
still get 25% off.
And as always, you can get the 36-month pay-as-you-go program, no interest, with that 25% off everything in the entire store. It'll knock that shit down to like $20 a month, $25 a month.
Yeah.
And you're good to go. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today. Next up, we got keeps.com/revolution. That's Keeps, KEEPS.com/revolution, Jabes. It's keeping the hair you got. Talked about it on the show. I'm going to talk about it again.
Ain't no hair like the hair I got.
Yeah. Everywhere. Let's say your pubis section is bald. Maybe you want to keep those pubes that you got. You're worried about those falling out.
It does not work that way. But
I think it does. Hair is hair, isn't it?
Here's the deal. Ross is not a doctor, but on the site,
Played one.
you can message with an actual doctor that will probably dispel the myth that he just put out there.
Nah.
So just see what's going on. Talk to them about what you're dealing with, and tell him that you talked to Ross about your pubes
Pubis.
growing.
Yep.
And see if they can get a little chuckle out of that.
Yeah,
we need to brighten everybody's day, at this point.
You want to put a little rough behind the green there. You got to pube it up. You can put that in there. Look, some people are into that. It's quarantine times. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's bushes are reverting back to the 70s. And we're working on a thing with Manscaped, actually. And they're going to be on the show soon. And that's going to help you trim up down there. So that's going to be coming up. So watch that. Watch those pubes, brother. But if you're losing them, this will help them keep the ones you got and all the hair on your head. First month, you get for free. So I'm not even asking you to buy anything. Just put it for free. I've been using it for a month. I told him, look, I'll give this a shot till the end of the year. I got a full Olive Garden head of salad on me. And camo now. I want to keep it. I want to keep it. Go to keeps.com/revolution today. Free 30-day trial. Next up, we got StrikeForceEnergy.com.
Boom, 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 boom. Shabloinkers.
Shabloinkers. Strike Force Energy. 4 amazing flavors: grape, ridge, lemon, orange. And there's another one that I always forget. Oh, a ridge, dude. Did I say that?
A ridge, grape, orange, and lemon.
Boom. Look at that. There it is, kids. I've been drinking it pretty much every day during the quarantine, in case you couldn't tell. I am hot again today.
Yeah.
Coming in hot.
Not as hot as yesterday, but
I'm
definitely
starting to
good.
get to that level.
yeah, I think you've got your meds right, if you know what I mean.
Found a nice groove inside the
And by
Strike
meds,
Force.
I mean Truly and Strike Force.
Right here. Boom. Tasty, tiny little tin pouch. Rip it open and squeeze it into any liquid available. No carbs, no sugars. You will not gain weight on this. Instead, you will gain energy. So much so, you might just punch out your neighbor, Getting bored late at night. You're like, fuck him. Fuck that guy, dude. Fuck you, Brad.
We don't live by.
We don't live by Brad, but we could someday.
Yeah.
And if I do, and there's another quarantine sitch going down, and I'm a little too hopped up on the Strike Force, guess who's getting knocked the fuck out, Brad? It's my yard, bro. That's not your yard. Go to StrikeForceEnergy.com. Protect your family. Get on some energy, 10-pack, 40-pack, 750-milliliter bottle. They deliver everywhere in the entire world. Free shipping. The shit's cheap as fuck anyways. You can use Strike or Revolution is the promo code for 20% off there. It's weird that I forgot that after doing it for 4 years. Last but not least, we got straightrazors.com, Jabes.
Ooh, that's a clean cut. Smooth.
There it is. Oh.
You're leaving cans on?
Oh, maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Put them on.
All right.
Oh, you right?
No.
You took them off,
Couldn't do it.
bro.
Couldn't fucking do it, Jabes. And I apologize.
Woke up this morning with the sunshine in my eyes.
Yeah, I woke up this morning with some full pubes in my boxers.
Do you know what song that is?
I don't.
Oh, it's a Joe Exotic, but go ahead.
Is it really?
Yeah.
God damn it, man. Yo Exotic still lives in our hearts and minds.
Still lives in our hearts and minds and in our ears.
Said I wasn't going to post another Tiger King meme, and I did yesterday on Drinkin Bros podcast.
Yeah, I posted my last one too as well. But
I'm all done.
Straight
Razors.com. Look, you're out of razors at the store. The store's out of razors. I need to fucking re-up, dude. Go to straightrazors.com. They ship to your house. They got amazing deals. They got everything you need to be a real man in this life. Their Smolder aftershave is the motherfucking jam. And they'll deliver right to your house. You don't have to worry about that shit. That's it, bro.
That's it, bro.
That's it.
Let's give
straightrazors.com. Promo code REVOLUTION, 20% off.
20% off. Let's give a little quick shout-outs before we get to our next
Go ahead.
topics.
Go ahead.
Richard, thank you so much.
Yes.
Very sweet. Craig, very sweet. Brittany C, what up, girl? I love when there's a girl in the feed, I have to say. And Brooke is here. Danielle was here. Ruben.
A lot of people. We're
Safety First Medical, which is always weird for me to say.
Best handle in the biz.
I
Best handle in the biz. I hope he just writes back and he's like, that's actually my real name.
It's
Safety
my real
First
name,
Medical.
like first, middle, last. Yeah.
It'd be great.
Jacob Nickel, obviously. Nico the Greco.
We've been dealing with a shadow ban on YouTube that just keeps going, doesn't it? We got hacked yesterday by Iran during the middle of that interview yesterday.
Did you?
We did. Everything shut down. 7 minutes in, literally everything shut down and froze. And then today we had to change all our passwords, all that other bullshit. We had the terrorist whisper on last night on Drinkin Bros podcast. What'd you change it to? Bernie Sanders is out.
Yeah.
2020.
Oh, cool.
Exclamation mark.
Yeah. Capital B. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you did. That's cool. Did you?
Yes. Look. We have fucking total on our network. We have 12 million now. 12 to 13 million audio listeners.
Yeah, definitely.
On YouTube, we have like fucking
I know.
40,000 people. Like, it's a joke, dude. And everybody writes in every day. And this is for you guys, the diehard homies, because you have to. I guess you have to turn on notifications. That's where all the messages I've been getting just to see this video.
Yeah.
All the diehard homies out there, we know what's going on, because everybody's like, man, it's hidden if you just do a search for it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I get it. My guess is it was probably the Alex Jones episodes we did. Or Milo.
And now Homedy or Terrorist
Milo.
Whisperer?
Well, Terrorist Whisperer is a different story, man. So he's got people on the ground in Iraq and Iran who are giving him info, and then he's got pictures of all the shit that's been going on. So we've been putting it into the episodes. So if you've seen it, that's what it is. And yeah, man, it was a strange occurrence yesterday. That's all I can say. But the episode fucking exploded today, audio-wise. So what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about Dennis Quaid having his own podcast now, Jabes?
What's the name of it?
Dennis Sons.
What did I say to you when I heard that?
You said, can somebody call themselves?
I said that's bold. If you say it's a Jessie Assance, Jables Assance, like you aren't able to do that. It's like giving yourself a nickname, right? Other people have to say, like Keanu Assance. Keanu didn't come out and say, hey guys, I'm having a real moment here.
Keanu Assance, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that other people were noticing that he was really just coming back and everything was great and he was just doing so well,
yeah,
you know?
He's just doing so splendid.
And he was just everywhere in like the perfect amount of way, unlike, I was thinking the other day. Tiffany Haddish.
Oh, yeah.
Is one of the biggest, what do you call it when you like draft someone that just does not meet the potential, right? Just a
bust.
bust. Yeah.
It's weird with Tiffany Haddish though. Like it's hard to struggle for years and then not take all of that money by doing all of the things. And
But
there
you're
is
not doing anything well at this point.
But you're getting paid for it. And that's the thing is like,
Okay.
if behind the scenes, you know who you are and you're like, shit, man, I have limited talent. I have a limited amount of talent. Do I just max it out now, go for broke, and try to get rich and call it a day?
If you guys see on Netflix, it's called the Kennedy Center Honors or something, and they were honoring Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
And she, for some reason, was doing the intro to it, like giving him the honor.
Yeah.
And was just so bad.
Yeah.
And was reading off teleprompter, couldn't really read. The jokes weren't like anything landing at all. It was just really, really bad.
Sure.
And so you're saying that's because she's just taken on too much?
Too much. And look, you can see it with everybody.
What was she doing that day that she couldn't just like read the monologue
takes on
first?
that much. Here's the thing. So typically a day like that, you starts off with interviews and they'll block out 2 to 3 hours of interviews throughout your day.
Okay.
Your work suffers because of it, because you're doing a million fucking things and you're zoned out. And by the time you get there and everybody's gassed you up so hard at that point that you're the funniest fucking person on the planet, that you get out there and you're like, I don't need to rehearse. I can just read a teleprompter and whatever. Reading off a teleprompter is a very unique set of skills. Not to go Liam Neeson on people, but
no, but like if
skill
it's
set.
your jokes, if you know you're
It's not your jokes.
Why not?
They have a writer for most all of that. Everything you see on television typically has a writer.
But like for something like that,
I know. You should write your own shit. I agree.
that or just like read it over a little bit, like
Yeah.
try and not be on the teleprompter the entire time and just. I never found her stand up funny, not for 1 second, not ever.
I didn't. Her book was really good though.
Her book was really good. And I guess in movies she's
Just pretty good. She's a good actor.
okay. In interviews
Yeah.
she's kind of fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Either way, it's hard. It's one of the hardest conundrums in Hollywood. Do you take the money all out and just say fuck it and gas it, or do you try to stretch it out over the long run? Because I've seen the other side of that where people fail and they're just like, like Emile Hirsch is one of those to me, where Emile Hirsch is a fantastic actor. He wanted to do serious dramas, Oscars, all that other shit. He waited in between projects and didn't do the big blockbusters and the other thing. He didn't do the one-for-one thing that everybody else does, right?
Yeah.
And then he just kind of zapped himself out. And I'm not sure how much money he actually made in his career. And if it's enough to sustain the rest of his life, to be honest with you. Because name something gigantic that he was in that got you those big paydays. And that's the toughest part of it. So looking at the industry the way it is now, man, it is hard not to say, all right, back up the truck. Let's get everything that we possibly can now, like an NFL player. And just because you don't know what your lifespan is going to be, especially in the age of social media where you have fucking Lily Pons, who's got 25 million followers. And it's like, she's probably making more than most. Logan Paul's making more than 99.9% of Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's making like almost The Rock money a year, where you're just like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
that's Logan Paul. That's who you're up against now. So it's hard not to take all those gigs, and I don't necessarily fault her for that. But, it's rough.
All right.
It's rough.
Another random thought I had. So along with the Dennis Quaid podcast, so all these celebrities are just starting podcasts because like it's hard. It's not hard, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to work for it for 5 years just to get like a certain amount of following. Like, no, you know?
Yeah, if you're famous,
Soup's
you can
easy.
get your show out there pretty
Soup's
easily.
easy. What are you guys even talking about? So I thought the guests that come on their show must like love it so much because they're like, oh, thank God I can talk to another celebrity and I don't have to deal with these lowlifes that have so many followers, but I don't fucking know them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they don't have to like do that anymore. They can just go on Justin Long's and talk to another celebrity.
Yeah.
And it makes them feel better.
Sure.
Anyways, people that say especially if
Yeah.
you say that someone has done a complete 360.
Wow.
Like they changed so much they did a 360, right?
You bet. Yeah.
It's actually not that, right? It's 180. I heard it on like Today Show or something where I was like, You know that means you're just right back where you
You
started,
just
right?
did a full circle,
you just
right?
did a full circle, and
Did a
now you're
full
right
circle.
back in the shit.
Yeah, right back in the shit. We
anyways.
got breaking news here from Biden just released statements.
Ooh.
I know Bernie well. He's a good man, great leader, one of the most powerful voices for change in our country, and it's hard to sum up his contributions to our politics in one single tweet, so I won't try. And he's left a link. That is, man, Joe Biden, you're still just not getting it. It is joe.link/34, lowercase ma, uppercase UXC. Why is it just not on joebiden.com? I mean, I don't. What the fuck are we doing, dude?
Where's the link on Twitter?
Yeah, but why doesn't it just go to joebiden.com?
At least Bernie on Twitter, if you go to, it was literally Bernie Sanders .live.
That's the way it should be.
I mean, it was like he has the youngest techie people working for him, right? It's all smooth. He's gone live on YouTube.
That was his whole audience, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. It's crazy. It's just every day you read something and you're like, it is not the 1950s. Like I almost expect to hear Joe Biden riding around in a car with the horns on the top. Vote for Joe Biden.
Oh,
2020. Got on out to the polls.
Oh, that would be so artisanal.
Wouldn't it?
I would like it.
Wouldn't it?
Be so
That'd be a nice
bespoke.
thing. And then breaking news
Vintage.
about Post Malone as well. He's getting sued for the song Circles.
From they always do, but
Somebody claims to have written half the song with him.
No.
Post is suing him.
Yeah.
I don't buy it, man.
I don't buy it. Not with Post Malone. I don't
No.
buy it for a second.
That guy's locked in, man. He's got the same producer, same writing partner. They
I don't
do
buy it.
everything together. I don't buy that either. But that sucks. These motherfuckers, dude. Just leave it. Just leave it. You know? If you're that great, if you're that brilliant, and you think you wrote a song or whatever, then you can write 80 more. That's what I always tell people. If you're trying to sue somebody for some stupid shit like that, if you were that brilliant, you shouldn't just have one thing. You could have a million things then, right?
Yeah.
If you think you were that brilliant to write a number
Maybe
one
they
song in the
don't,
world.
right? But like, if it was a blatant stealing your shit, then let's talk about it, right?
Yeah.
I just don't see Post doing that, and it'll all shake out, I guess. But
No.
in the end, they just sort of pay because they don't want to fucking deal with it, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is, money will change hands. It'll fucking suck. And
He'll have to pay somebody something.
yeah, this will get drug out for 3 years in court.
He'll probably give him your bear pong money, which will be fine. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
No, he's not going to win. We got a bunch of people on the message board here in Drinkin Bros saying, I will come down on Drinkin Bros podcast page. That's where all of our YouTube channels, all of our podcasts are on Drinkin Bros podcast page on YouTube. Ross Patterson Revolution included, so subscribe. A bunch of listeners are saying, dude, I will drive down and I will train with you. I feel pretty confident.
During Warren time?
Yeah. One guy says he's driving down this weekend. He's like, yeah, me and my family are going down there anyways. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of people out there who just are over this the same way as I am, where they're just like, we should get back to work. Including that guy, the coach of Oklahoma State yesterday, Mike Gundy. He came out and just said, look, man, all of our kids are 18 to 22 years old. They are young enough to fight off this disease. By May, we should be back practicing football, because if it does not go on by August, when the college football season starts, the state of Oklahoma is going to lose a shit ton of money. Yeah. And he's right. And he got destroyed for it last night. And I agree with him. Look, at the collegiate level, especially with Oklahoma State or an Ohio State or a big program like that, you have the best training staff and doctors you could possibly imagine. If something were to happen to you, again, you're a young dude who's fit and all that other shit, like, they'll be able to patch you up, give you a Z-Pack and get on about your day 3 days later. Mm-hmm. I kind of agree with him. I'll be curious to see where this goes here in May, because right now they're saying that the curve is starting to peak and things might return. That, like, finally, some doctor said yesterday, things should return or might return to normal as of May. So hopefully that stands and we can get back on our shit. Not that it matters to Tom Brady, though, I will say, practicing. He did an interview last night where he was just like, hey, man, I've skipped OTAs, which is the off-season training workouts. Mm-hmm. And he goes, because of Giselle, she made me. She said I was a fucking terrible husband, and that she was going to divorce me. Yeah.
What?
Isn't that crazy?
Just move on to Patty Boonchen.
No, man.
If Giselle leaves you, there's still Patty.
Yeah. He goes, what did he say here? So this is his exact quote. He was on Stern. He was on Howard Stern. So he went on Stern, which is weird. Brady never does shit like that. It was strange. And he goes, she didn't feel I was doing my part for the family. She felt like I would play football all season and she would take care of the house. And all of a sudden when the season would end, I would be like, great, let me go to all my other business activities and then let me get into my football training. Mm-hmm. And she's sitting there saying, well, look, when are you going to do things around the house? When are you going to take care of the kids? When are you going to take them to school and do all that stuff? And that was a big part of our marriage. And he said he had to check himself because she said, I have goals and dreams too. And he said things got so rocky. She actually wrote him a letter explaining to him all the problems in their relationship. They went to therapy and he started skipping the off-season workouts, which is what Mike Gundy wants kids to do. And most of the NFL teams have off-season training. Mm-hmm. Skipping them to work on his marriage, which I was surprised to hear. I thought he was so gangster that he was, doing all this shit. The fact that he was skipping OTAs, covered out and winning all these Super Bowls, might make him the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
That's gnarly, man. Shit. But it was kind of, it's odd because Brady doesn't let anybody in. To hear this about their relationship is strange. And then the fact that he went on Howard Stern is strange. Brady doesn't do shit like that.
Yeah, what is he doing?
I don't know. Maybe he's finally out of the Patriots organization as a whole have a lockdown of like, you're not doing shit unless we say. So maybe he's like, look, I'm out of there now and I can start to live my life because
he's spreading his
wings, spreading his dong, yeah. Because he signed a 2-year deal. He's 43 now. That'll put him at 45. That has to be the end of it. If he plays past 45 years old, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. A 45-year-old dude playing quarterback?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't like 45 years old.
Is that the oldest
of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah, dude. Like Jesus Christ. The NFL is a 3-year league where you're in and out in 3 years. So
he should be out now. So I don't know.
I know. How the fuck is he still playing?
How old was Peyton?
I think Peyton made it to 38, and that was a rough 38.
He seemed 45 though.
He seemed 90.
90.
The last time he was playing. Scars on the neck, all that other weird, the weird gait and limps and all that shit. Like,
yeah,
he was damn near death, and he was still out there. Even in the Super Bowl, that was his last game when he won the Super Bowl. He had a terrible game in that. I mean, he was just handing off the ball, and the defense won that game. He was getting duct taped back together to win that shit. Brady, though, like, have you seen him recently? Looks like he just stepped off the cover of GQ.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a football player, though. He looks good, but
looks great in a non-gay way. I mean, Jesus Christ, he looks like he's 30 years old still. I don't know what he's doing. Besides the TB12 diet, I don't know what he's doing, but he looks amazing. Amazing. But look, good on them. Shit, I'm surprised he came out and said all this.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, him and Giselle.
Howard Stern will just get it out of you.
He's
one of those like Marin where it's like if you don't say something, that clip will run and hurt you more than actually saying something. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The clip of you like not being like, oh, I can't, and him being like, what, you can't? Why'd you come on the show? You can't fucking talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That clip would be more damning than if you just say whatever he's asking you, right?
Stern's the very best to do it, in my opinion, of all time. And we certainly wouldn't be here without him. I mean, shit. I've loved him since God knows, man. I can't even remember. Grandparents were in New Jersey, and Stern was always on the radio. They always had the tri-state area. Stern would stretch out to the tri-state area, and I got to hear him as a kid, and it was just so fucking wild, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
He's evolved in a pretty natural way as well.
And he's still keeps his shit young. You can tell he keeps up with pop culture and all that other shit. And his interview, he's one of the very best interviewers there is on the planet.
Yeah.
If not the best, to be honest with you.
I think probably the best.
I think so. For sure.
Quarterback's 48, George Blandra from Raiders.
Oldest quarterback is 48 years old. Blanda from the Raiders. That's right. That was like
Did
back.
he really play?
Yeah,
though?
he did, and that was back in the. Yeah, I was gonna say it was back in the 70s where like people were still smoking in the locker room, and it was just like, you weren't making that much money, and you were like, great, let's get on out here.
But like, shouldn't that make it worse? Like, if you are able to just like smoke and drink and not take care of yourself,
It was one of those.
TB12, they would fucking laugh in your face.
It was one of those things where you didn't have a choice but to play that old because it was like, what else are you going to do for a living? So it's just like, can we tape it up and get out there for one more season?
Yeah.
You kind of had to back then. Same with baseball players. It was just like,
for sure.
How old are we? I guess we can get back on out there.
For
Duct
sure.
tape it up, throw a little Bengay on the old ding dong, and I'll hop on out to the mound, throw some spitballs over the plate. We'll see. Wild day today. Goodbye, Bernie Sanders. Good night, Sweet Prince.
Good night, sweet prince.
We will
You
see
fought
you
hard.
in 4 years.
You might be dying, which is why you're ending the fight. We're not sure.
A lot of people on the
TBD.
message board are saying that, and I'm getting text messages like over and over and over again are like, "Hey, man, is he dying?
Is
like,
he
what's
dying?
the story?"
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I for me, I thought that was the only way he would quit.
Oh, if he's died,
If he's dying,
maybe
died.
we'll find out. We'll find out what happens. But thanks for tuning in. Go to iTunes and rate the show. Give it a 5-star and just a quick little one-liner. The advertising agency loves that shit, and it's like become necessary. We've never asked for it. We are now. Started asking the last few weeks, and
When are
it
we
helps.
gonna pick the
Friday.
funniest one? Friday.
Friday.
Okay.
So we're gonna pick the best review on Friday, and then send you a signed book of your choosing, or some Strike Force and whatever you want. To be honest, with
Yeah,
you.
whatever you want.
We'll get wet. We'll get wet with it. Go to iTunes and rate the show, Ross Patterson Revolution, and subscribe. You can also just turn on your notifications on YouTube, so that way we're going every day until this quarantine bullshit ends.
I think we're gonna do an every day at noon.
Yeah, we're gonna try. I think at noon now.
So there's no more.
Some people on the West Coast.
11:30-ish, 11-ish. I think 12 on the nose,
Yep.
just so everyone can jump in and hang out with each other, which I love that you guys are doing. Chris Beerworth, Jacob Nickel,
Yeah,
Broman,
David
Chris Broman,
Marfinetz. That's the weird. It's the weirdest last name.
Marfinetz.
Why not? Christopher
maybe
Broman, all those
new,
guys.
maybe
Yeah.
new.
Who knows? Oh, Brian Kropowski's up in this motherfucker.
Oh, Kapowski,
Yeah. Now you Jimmy's
Stephen
boy.
Hawkins. Stephen Hawkins. I think Hawkins.
Hawkins. There you go.
I
Not
think-
Hawking.
Not
yeah.
Hawking.
No wheelchair.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Hawk.
the
I
Hawk.
forgot you on the bro shout out in the beginning. Sorry about that one.
Yeah, no wheelchair on Stephen Hawkins. Oh, man.
The Rubes. Ruben
Schneider.
Snyder.
Everybody's up in this bitch. So join us at noon, because that way, for the West Coast, like we got a bunch of messages saying, "Hey man, I love the show. I love the live shows. Can you do it for the West Coast that is on at like 9 a.m. when we're having coffee?" And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and like once the quarantine is over, we can reassess time wise because people will be at work and whatnot. But I don't know, if you guys like it, we might
Keep going.
keep doing it.
For the remainder. For Jesse Wiseman, a.k.a. The Jables, I am Ross Patterson. This is The Revolution. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.